Few opening comments. We'll have a few opening comments and then we'll take your questions. And remember, no live streaming.
I'll open up with a comment first about Tyreek Stevenson and Tyler Simmons, and then talk about practice a little bit. But obviously, very disappointed. There's a standard of behavior that's expected of student athletes at the University of Georgia, and that's not indicative of the behavior we want at the University of Georgia. And I think it's very obvious that those guys made poor choices and decisions, and they will be disciplined. They will be disciplined internally, and to be honest with you, both of them were cited for disorderly conduct, which I think you guys know. But you got to find a way to make better choices and decisions, especially as young men if they're going to represent this university. But those things will be handled, and they'll be handled the right way. As far as practice today, I thought guys did a tremendous job practicing, really pushed hard, spirited practice. They competed really hard. We got a lot of good competitions going on out there. I thought Saturday's practice was really good too. So we've had 2 really good competition days, and hope we can continue to stay injury free. We got some bumps and bruises. We're starting to get some guys back. David Marshall was able to do a little more today than he's been doing coming off the Liz Frank injury, and hope we can continue to do that. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Kirby, I know that you made the comment on it, but I just wanted to ask, when you've got a freshman like that, you got a senior involved too, I mean, there's a frustration element there for you as a coach with trying to find leadership and it being this time of year?
Yeah, there's always frustration when you have this. I don't think it's about a senior and freshman though. Those 2 guys they weren't even together. They didn't go there together. I mean, that wasn't the case. They ended up there, but that's not my concern. The concern I've got is the decisions that are made to put yourself in that situation. And look, there's kids. Our kids go downtown. We know our kids go downtown. When you go downtown, you got to behave. You got to act the right way. You got to follow and be law-abiding citizens. And that's the expectation we've got for our players. And to be honest with you, for the most part, our guys do that. But when they don't, they're going to be punished, and we're going to try to correct it. And we're going to do it through educational ways. And certainly going to do that with both Tyreek and Tyler.
Tyler was injured or taken to the hospital. I guess he's okay. And
yeah, he was fine. He practiced today. I'm not sure what it was, something to do with his ear, so I'm not sure what it was.
Last thing on that, just to be, the police said they were still looking into it. There's nobody else involved with the team. That's it. Those 2 guys, and
not as far as I know. I do not think so. I think it's over and done with. I think they finished it up, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But our communication with them is those 2 were the guys involved. There were other guys there, but as far as the involvement in it was those 2.
How is the inside linebacker or tight end position looking with Isaac Noddick on?
It's thin. There's not a lot of guys there. We moved Colby White, who we thought was a really good outside backer in fall camp, and he did a good job. He's developed. He's gotten a little bigger. We moved him over there to give us a little more depth. He's done some really competitive things. He's fighting his tail off. There's a young man that decided to be a walk-on here, Peyton Mercer, who's done an incredible job competing over there. Several guys, but Charlie and John are ahead of the other guys. And obviously we got help on the way, and we want more help. But if you ask me how it is right now, it's thin.
Coach, you said a week ago you're anxious to see wide receivers, guys stand out. Anybody standing out to you?
Well, ironically, Tyler Simmons has played well. He's really competitive. He's fast. He gets on top of us. He's done some good things. I think D-Rob stepped up. D-Rob's got to continue to play more physical, but he's made some catches. He's made some vertical threats. JJ's playing well. Kieris is coming along, probably not as fast as I'd like. Matt has done some things, and Tommy's done some things. I think, Matt's got some bumps and bruises. Tommy's dealing with some growing injury. The volume we have for the number of receivers we have has been tough, and you usually balance that with tight ends. Well, we don't have volume there, so we're thin, but we know help's on the way. We just got to do a good job developing enough depth that we feel comfortable with. They've made some plays. I definitely think that where last year it was like big play bonanza out there with the wideouts we had and the young DBs, that's balanced out more. So our DBs have gotten better, at least I hope they have, or the receivers are not as good a group right now as it was this time last year. And that's only going to happen through getting the kids here we signed and continuing to develop them.
What kind of steps are you seeing from Tyson Campbell as far as his work goes?
Tyson's doing a good job. He's in a really good competition. What's good about the corner position, we got some guys coming along. DJ Daniel is, which we knew in bowl practice that he was going to be a good player because he was covering the likes of the ones who were at the combine. So we knew we had a pretty good player with DJ. Tyson has improved. He understands the defense better. He's bright. He's doing some good things out there. Stokes is doing some good things. And even Tyreek Stevenson has picked some things up. So we've got some good competition at that corner position.
But backing up on David Marshall, that kind of lingered last year. I remember it was a while before. I don't think he ever pronounced it. He's out for the year. He ends up not playing. Is that Liz Frank, the thing that you're talking about? That's different than obviously than what James Cook has had. And was it something you had to figure out? You guys were having to figure out for a while? Or?
We weren't. We got him fixed immediately. We just didn't know when he was coming back. So David was, in my mind, probably not going to be able to come back most of the year last year. So I don't really know what you're asking. His injury is not the same as James Cook, though. It didn't so much linger as it did. He was injured. He was then out for a while. We got him fixed. He's taking the screws out now. He's taking the next step to coming back now. He's got to progress back because he gets sore each time he uses it because he hasn't used it in so long.
His impact on losing him last year, what was that? Obviously, good player.
That's in the years past. Last year, he's a good player, so I'm not going to cry over that. I mean, we need him this year. I want him to stay healthy.
You talked last week about creating habit plays and whatever. I know that some of it can be scheme. You don't want to rush the quarterback every time. When you talk about that, are you talking about players individually making plays, or could there be like some schematic stuff you're looking at?
Oh no, there's definitely some schematic stuff. I mean, we have a base defense that we feel good about. Within that, we have pressures, and we have a lot of things that we didn't use last year for whatever reason. We may not have thought they fit the opponent. We may not have thought they fit who we had on the back end to protect it. I think we're going to be deeper and older and wiser on the back end, which allows for a little more complexity. I mean, look, last year was a tough year. Nothing to do with Coach Tucker. It was tough. Now, we had some young guys in the secondary, a lot of young guys, where now I feel like we have a group back there that is emerging with some personality. Devad has grown a little confident. That bowl game worked wonders for him. He's playing good. Mark Webb, I mean, he's in a year where he understands things. I mean, J.R. Richard, there's good competition at safety with Otis. I mean, we just have more competition. So I think that allows us to create more havoc. Now, some of that is scheme, where you go meet with 5 teams that are in the top 20 and create tackles for a loss and say, how do you do it? Well, you start learning that, and you try to put some things in they do. And we're trying to do that, but to be honest with you, you're running against a big old wall of grown men up there, and it's tough because it's a good offensive line up there.
Kind of along the same lines, I know back in the early signing period, you expressed some excitement about getting Nolan and Jermaine in. I saw you doing some one-on-one stuff with Jermaine today. What have you seen from those guys, and in particular Jermaine kind of being a little bit more physically mature?
I've seen hunger out of both those guys. I mean, they don't know exactly what to do yet, but man, they do it hard. And there's something to be said for that. You know, we're going to play kids at the University of Georgia that give effort and play hard and do the right things. And those 2 guys, man, they play hard. Now, they don't know what they're doing yet. That's our job. That's our job. I'm very thankful that they're here 15 practices. And, I mean, Nolan has flashed some plays. He made a hell of a hit today and a really good play. He's also flashed some, what are you doing? And Jermaine's been the same way. You know, we call them Superman plays, where you look out there and go, man, who is that guy? And you say, who's that jersey number? But then they're lost some too. So I'm fired up to coach those 2 guys because I'm excited at what they're going to do to the guys in front of them from a pushing standpoint.
How has Jordan Davis looked? And with some of these defensive linemen out with injuries, have some other guys emerged in terms of building depth?
What other guys? I mean, name more. I mean, we don't have any. Like, defensive line is like super thin. And I guess I'm whining to the masses because every coach will tell you we don't have enough defensive linemen. You know, Jordan's pushing hard. Jordan works really hard. He's working to control his weight. He's not playing to the level that he was mid-season, into the season. You know, he's not there right now, but he's working hard. Jordan gives us Jordan comes in and works cardio more than anybody we got. I mean, if I ran as much as Jordan, my wife would be happy because I'd be skinny. But Jordan's got to fight that battle, and he knows it. We don't have enough depth there. I thought Devontae Wyatt is the guy that's really been competitive and done some good things. He was starting to grow up in the season. And there's something about these guys in that second spring where they start to kind of click and you get it. We need some, our help is on the way there. It's just not here.
We heard you talk a little bit about the center position last week. How would you say that Jamari Salyer's fitting in that discussion right now, or other positions?
I'd say he's in 3-4 practices. He's most improved offensive lineman. Now it's not center because he's working at center as a candidate, but he's working at right tackle and right guard. And let me tell you something. He's played quick. The biggest jump has been that guy, and you kept waiting on it because you knew that you were getting a really talented player. I didn't see the Jamari I've seen this spring. I didn't see that any in the fall, and he's challenging some guys. He's making